Fear is an appropriate human response. If there's a 40-ton truck coming at you, fear gets you out of the way. Whereas anxiety is a learned behavior, and obviously we don't really need it. In anxiety, we're kind of projecting unwanted outcomes at some point in the future. And very often they don't happen. And if they do, they're rarely as bad as we project. So in anxiety, we're actually giving away our power to something beyond ourselves. So I'm Charles from Smash Your Anxiety, and today I'd like to show you 5 straightforward ways in which you can help to take care of yourself. The first of these is to develop 6-6 breathing. The first component of 6-6 breathing is actually nasal breathing. Obviously, we all breathe, but I wonder how often we think about how we breathe. And the key thing here is to start from is to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Simple as that. Breathing in through the nose actually helps memory recall and our emotional judgment. And more importantly, it helps set the basis for 6-6 breathing. The next stage is to use belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. And in this, we simply let the belly relax as we breathe in, expanding the lungs, and the belly relaxes, and we breathe out by contracting the belly. And to practice this, we can simply lie on the bed, put one hand on our chest, one hand on our belly, and breathing gently in, allow the belly to expand and contract as we breathe out. That's a great way to practice this. It's actually, because it sells what's called a Valsalva reaction, it doubles the circulatory effectiveness of the heart. The third thing is here is 6-6 breathing itself, which is balancing the in-breath and the out-breath to balance, equalizes the time between inhalation and exhalation. And in so doing, it balances the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So we breathe in to the count of 6 and breathe out to the count of 6. So in total, we simply breathe 5 times in a minute. There's a great app if you have an Android for practicing this. It's called Breathe, simply called Breathe. And you just use that to set the time on the way in and the way out. And there's also a possibility of a pause at the top and the bottom. Please set that to 0. So you just one smooth in breath and one smooth out breath. With practice, it's easy to get to 5 in and 6 in and 6 out 5 times in a minute. Just play until you get it right. Now, for people with asthma, I have no reason to suppose these techniques I'm teaching you for breathing are contraindicated. It is always useful on the safe side to keep your puffer to hand, so you can always take a breath on that if you need to in the meantime. Now, the next thing I'd like to show you is 7-LEM breathing. And 7-LEM breathing, which is great if you're really feeling anxious, use the same process as before in terms of breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, and breathing into the belly and out of the belly. The key difference here is that we're breathing in the count of 7 and out to the count of 11. Now, this does take a little bit of practice. So we breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And so it goes. Now, when we learn to practice this, or once we've learned to practice it rather, it's such a great thing to be able to do if we're feeling a bit anxious. I love it I get very frustrated in supermarket queues, maybe you do too. And so just engage with 7-LEM breathing, and you just sort of settles you down, helps you to be patient, also suitable for traffic lights. Any time when you might get a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, just engage with 7-LEM breathing. It makes such a difference. And sometimes if you're having trouble sleeping, 7-LEM breathing is really helpful thing to help you just drift off to sleep. So it's a really wonderful thing to be able to do. And please practice, because only when you practice will you be able to know how to do it when you really need to do it. So practice, practice, practice. Now, the next activity I would like to suggest to you is a very simple one of, if you have an unwanted thought, simply imagine a big red stop sign comes on inside your head. Just see that there, and imagine at the same time a loud internal voice says, stop. So big red stop sign, loud internal voice says, stop. Stop now. And you replace that thought with something pleasing, like a walk in the country, walk by the river, walk in the hills, whatever pleases you, anything that really makes you feel good about yourself. And doing this once may be effective, but you may need to do it several times, because with what we're doing is teaching the neural pathways to behave differently. And the more often we do this, the more often we're reinforcing the fact that we don't want those unwanted thoughts, these stray thoughts going through our head. We want to stop them. So we teach our brain to behave differently. And so we just keep on repeating that until it takes effect. What we're doing, as I said, is to change the neural pathways and build new ones. If you imagine it's like a field of grass, and the unwanted thoughts are where we've worn that, where there's a pathway worn through it. And so repeated unwanted thoughts, the path gets worn and worn and worn. Once we put that barrier up and stop treading down that pathway, the grass has time to grow again. It grows back. So that's a really simple way to start to change the thought process. The fourth thing I'd like to suggest, this is incredibly simple. You take two fingers of either hand and you simply trace what is called the infinity symbol across your forehead. Very gently, very lightly, trace this on your forehead. So the infinity symbol is like a figure of 8 lying on its side, if you will. So just imagine a figure of 8 lying on its side and gently trace two fingers lightly, doesn't matter which fingers, across your forehead. And what this does, it releases oxytocin. And it's so soothing to do this. And the oxytocin is sometimes known as the hug drug. And so if there's somebody you like or love very much, giving them a hug for 30 seconds releases oxytocin. And if you can imagine anybody you've been able to hug recently and hold on to them for 30 seconds, how nice it is to have that lovely sensation. You can do that simply by doing this infinity symbol lying on its side like that, lying on your forehead, the figure of 8 lying on its side like that. So it's so simple, and I recommend that you do it last thing at night. Every night, do this before you fall asleep. And you can do it any time during the day that you'd like to do it too. And the final thing I'd like to show you, and you're best standing up to do this. I'm not going to stand up simply because I'm standing in front of the computer to record this. But if you imagine in front of you is a tornado, and we know that a tornado has at its very center a still spot. It's totally calm, the center of a tornado. So if you imagine a tornado whirling right there in front of you, going round and round at great speed, and you simply step inside the middle of this tornado. So try it now. Step inside the tornado. Notice how quiet it is. And then allow the tornado to take all those unwanted thoughts, unwanted sensations, unwanted feelings, and experience it as it gathers all those things up. It whirls them into its path, takes them away, and you're safe there right in the center. And it carries all that unwanted material away with it. And you just breathe quietly and enjoy that new calmness. The whirlwind takes it all away. And then you have greater clarity. And once you've done that, step out of the whirlwind and carry on with what you were doing and enjoy. So there's a PDF that goes with this. If you'd like to ask for a PDF, please write to me at charles@smashyouranxiety.com. So a PDF available by writing to me that covers this, all I've just been saying here, by writing to me at charles@smashyouranxiety.com. Thank you very much for watching.